Hello everyone. So today I'm just kind of here to do something a little bit more on the simple side, and you're gonna watch me draw for a little bit. And for those of you that don't really know, I am an artist. I've been drawing quite a bit for the past, I want to say about the past decade or so. And I'd like to think I'm okay at it. My style is very inconsistent by virtue, and I'm not exactly here to say that I'm amazing at it, but it is something that I personally really enjoy doing, and I wanted to share it with all of you, and especially because I just put this icon into quite a bit of different places, so and I've recorded the process, and I just kind of wanted to go do something a little bit on the simpler side, so I'm just gonna kind of go on an unscripted ramble for a little bit. I figured to take this as an opportunity to explain sort of my justification, or not really a justification, but sort of what drives me as a contributor. And there's a lot of different reasons that somebody might want to contribute to Smoke On for say, for example, but for me personally, it's a lot of it is mainly because I really want to contribute. And see, it's not just that. It can also be for things like wanting attention. Sometimes it's to get power. You can have dishonest reasons like that, but you can also have a desire to do other things and get into other places. Maybe you want to get closer to a friend, or you want to get involved in a certain community. And in general, there's quite a bit of reasons why somebody might want to start contributing. And I want to say that the best way to go about it is to just be honest with yourself. And I know that seems like a really vague answer, and to many it might be, but I think it's important to consider that when you're contributing to anything, it doesn't have to be just Smoke On. It can also just be things like drawing or writing or doing commissions, or even just kind of in general making contributions. It doesn't have to be Smoke On, like I just said. A lot of it is that you have to actually enjoy doing it to actually get any value out of it. And what I mean by this is you don't necessarily need to you gotta tell this is unscripted, but I think it's important to put yourself first and put your interest first, because otherwise it can be really dangerous for both your mental health and your long-term ability to actually contribute in the first place. And you have to do it because you want to do it. And I think that's a really important distinction, because a lot of people think that you have to sacrifice your time and your effort in order to actually make progress with things, but the truth is you don't have to. It's imperative to consider when it comes to these kinds of contributions that they're done for fun. At least with Smoke On, we're literally making like analyses and posts and participating in tournaments and making all these clauses. Like, there's a competitive overtone to it, but at the end of the day, we're all a bunch of nerds sitting in front of a computer or something like that, just for the sake of being nerds, doing something that we enjoy. And personally, I think it's important to do things because you want to actually do them and not do them for any other reason. Because it can not only reflect poorly on your own abilities, but it can also be really dangerous in the long term. And burnout is a very serious, very dangerous thing that I'm not afraid to say that I've gotten my hands dirty with quite a bit. In fact, burnout is something that I've faced quite a bit in my education and my day-to-day life, because there's so much responsibility that I put on myself because I want to help people, and I think it's important to be able to do that, but it's also important to remember that you need to put yourself first and put your desires and will to help on, okay, how do I put this? It's important to put yourself first. Do things because you want to do them, and that's kind of a big reason why I contribute, because I love the tier that I play, and I love contributing and making and helping to build a sense of community. And I think that's something that is really important. Being able to build a sense of community it's a godsend. I think it's the main thing that drives me, because I want to help and create an environment where people feel like they can express themselves and give their opinions without feeling like they're going to be persecuted or demoralized. And I know a lot of people who can feel like they don't amount to much because of the things that have been indirectly taught to them based on personal experiences. And frankly, it can be really dangerous, especially if you're starting to just do things for the sake of self-esteem, or to get a sort of feeling out of what you're doing. And comparing yourself to other people is honestly a death sentence. And it's really something that you can really quickly find yourself doing very quickly when you get the clicks on the site, and when you're actually making comparisons. When you make comparisons to other people, you downplay your own abilities quite a bit, and that's just kind of what happens, when you directly compare what you're doing and poke flaws in your own abilities. It gives you, I think comparisons in this regard are really unhealthy. And I'm not just talking like simple interactions. I'm talking like abilities, talents. I think it's really, really unhealthy to do. And I would know. I've done it way too much for my own good. And it's a death trap that's so easy to get into when you consider like the whole badge system and getting rewards and incentives to contribute. And it's just not worth it. Your mental health is so important and so precious, and that has to be taken first. You absolutely should not sacrifice your health for the sake of getting a badge, for example. And that's kind of the big thing for me. It's something that I've learned the hard way, because it's important to recognize that it's really easy to fall into the trap of comparisons, and there comes a point where contributions become less for fun and more because you want to be recognized for your abilities and what you're doing in the first place. And at that point, the quality just inherently dips because it's losing its place of passion. And passion is what drives so many. It's what inherently drives contributions to things like Smogon, for example, right? And basically, this whole long-winded ramble is basically just trying to say, put yourself first and contribute because you want to contribute. And that's my thing. Anyway, that big ramble aside, I would like to kind of contextualize a little bit of what my goal as a contributor actually is. And I feel like I've talked about this quite a bit with some people, but just for the sake of discussion and for this video, I personally feel like I contribute because I want to help aid a sense of community. I think that the Smogon's community, and there's so much potential with like the OU forum, for example, and I want to make people feel like their voices are able to be heard, because I think that everyone's voices are important. We all work together to build the environment that we play in and that we post in, and I think everybody should feel like they amount to something, because they do. I think every single voice is important, And that's what drives my contributions, why I help with CNC, for example, or why I also help with the actual forum maintenance and why I post in the metagame discussion threads and why I do all that. I want to contribute to the community, and moreover, I want to help build a sense of community and make people feel like they amount to something, because they do. Every single person amounts to something, and it's for that exact reason that it's so important to put yourself first, because everybody matters. There's a person behind every single post that you see. It doesn't matter how ridiculous or how over the top it is. We all have a sort of incentive that drives us. We all have our own thing going on. I have my own thing going on. You have your own thing going on. And that is valid. It's important, even. I would argue, like, who you watching right now, it doesn't matter if you're watching, it doesn't matter if you're a Smogon contributor, or if you're just here because you want to watch my beautiful art being made live. Be you. Do you. Be yourself and contribute for the sake of contributing. No, not sake for, sorry. Contribute for the sake of having fun. We're all nerds here, and we're all here to have fun. And you are too. Honestly, clout is overrated. Clout is meaningless. Your like ratio, meaningless. All of that means nothing in comparison to what your experience actually is. And your experience needs to dictate in what way you want to contribute, and if you want to contribute at all, or if you even want to be here in the first place. And that doesn't even just apply with Smogon. It applies with so many different places, and it goes with with hobbies. It goes with communities in general. Like, it's important to consider that every single individual is important, and I personally believe that a sense of community is pivotal in this sort of context. And it's a really nice little community that's been built. And it's still building to this day. I love seeing new posters, for example, and it's really refreshing. I just love seeing what people's ideas are and what they want to do. And I think in general, and it's for that reason that I value you, if that makes sense. I want to see what you have to offer. It's why I want people to give me their thoughts on certain subjects I talk about, or, in general. I love being disagreed with. I love when people have something that they want to say to me, or something, whether that's like positive, or if you want to blast me with a ha-ha or something. I don't care. I want you to speak your mind, and do it because you want to do it. Post an analysis, or reserve one, or AM check, or anything like that. Do it because you want to do it. Don't feel like there's any clout to get, because it's not worth it. Your mental health comes first. And that's something I learned the hard way as well, actually. So, anyway, thank you all for listening to my long-winded ramble. I'll let y'all watch the rest of this come together, and thanks for watching, and I hope you all have a fantastic rest of your day.